Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, people still haven't realized that I'm not kidding, I'm not being facetious. It's not hyperbole when I say that the Democrat Party has become the party of the criminal. People seriously still think that I'm joking. Now, I know Democrats are attempting to flip the script lately. Actually, they say as they push their glasses up along their nose bridge, crime, homicides are down in every major Democrat city. BTFO, MAGA chud nerd. But it's all frickin' smoke and mirrors. It's all a big distraction from what's really going on in their cities. They always point to homicides. Gangland rivalries are down from the huge peaks that we saw in 2021. Wow, golf clap, great for you, Democrats. You guys have come down slightly from record murders in some of these cities, or at least near record murders, mirroring what we saw in the 1990s during some of these gang bloodbaths. But what they don't seem to understand is that homicides aren't the issue. That isn't the crime that generally affects regular people. Gangland assassinations and drive-by shootings, for the most part, that violence is criminal on criminal. Sometimes people get caught in the crossfire, and of course that's horrifying and horrible, but the real crime that affects regular folk are the assaults and the robberies. And these crimes, as much as Democrats want to avoid it and pretend aren't happening, are skyrocketing. Carjackings, random assaults, stores being robbed and ransacked. The stuff that affects everyday commerce, everyday business, the feeling of safety in a city, these kinds of crimes are out of control. And it all boils down to policy, more specifically, idiotic, naive, left-wing progressive policy, bail reforms, defunding the police, decriminalizing crime, crimes being dropped from felonies to misdemeanors. Let's get into the world of left-wing idiocy, and let's get into the idiotic world of pro-criminal Democrat policies, and more importantly, the devastating outcomes of these policies. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, what was it, like 2 weeks ago we were talking about how young girls in New York City simply walking down the streets were being assaulted, punched in the face randomly. So many young women saying publicly that it had happened to them.
You guys, I was literally just walking and a man came up and punched me in the face. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. And I was looking down and I was looking at my phone and like texting, and then out of nowhere, this man just came up and hit me in the face.
I literally just got punched by some man on the sidewalk. He goes, sorry, and then punches me in the head. Holy, what the hell just happened?
So I have fallen victim to the men in New York City lifting an elbow or trying to punch innocent girls on the street.
Well, obviously it isn't just a freak occurrence that's happening every now and then. This kind of thing, these random assaults, are happening constantly. All of those examples from a couple weeks ago, and then just this week we have 3 major incidents that once again shows you just how bad it really is. Take a look at this tweet right over here from Colin Rugg. He writes, 16-year-old teen who cracked a 68-year-old woman's skull outside of a church had been arrested and released 9 times before the brutal attack. He continues and says progressivism is evil. Just 3 days before the attack outside the church, Javon Prince had reportedly mugged a 50-year-old woman and stole her car. Prince was arrested 2 other times for assault and has been charged with 6 robberies. Thanks to progressive policies, this woman's head was busted open. Now, I'm not sure I can show you the actual clip. I mean, I can probably show you a highly censored version. What you're seeing is a regular occurrence. In fact, it's not only a regular occurrence, it's a regular recurring occurrence. Because progressive politicians simply just keep letting these people back onto the streets over and over again. The typical bleeding heart liberal response, he's 16 years old. He doesn't know any better. It's not his fault. You know, probably something to do with systemic racism and inequality, or maybe according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, he's doing this because he needs bread.
And so they go out and they need to feed their child and they don't have money. So you maybe have to, they're put in a position where they feel like they either need to shoplift some bread or go hungry that night.
It's also completely ludicrous. If you have somebody, regardless of whether or not they're above 18 or not, with a serious rap sheet, a track record of violent assault and robberies, why let that person back on the streets over and over again to reoffend? It's unbelievable. I've been calling it the revolving door of the Democrat justice system for 4 years. They come in, they get a slap on the wrist. Oh, you poor victim. Somehow the criminals become victims in the mind of these Soros-funded DAs, and then whoop, no cash bail, hardly any charges, sometimes no charges at all, put right back on the street, and the consequences are clearly devastating. Clearly devastating. This woman is very likely to have suffered a traumatic brain injury. And the question is, could it have been avoided? Well, obviously. So that's this week's first event. Let's take a look at the next one. And keep in mind that yes, these individuals are different, but really it's the same thing reoccurring over and over again, as I suggested. The same type of individual with a violent track record, and in many cases, individuals who are clearly mentally unwell, violent individuals who are mentally unwell, being released back into society to prey on law-abiding citizens, innocent, unsuspecting victims. This just occurred in New York City. Brute who slugged a little girl in Grand Central was free after another attack days earlier. A cowardly brute is facing assault charges after police said he slugged a 9-year-old at Grand Central Terminal in an unprovoked attack on Saturday. Jean Carlos Varzuela, 30, who was free without bail despite allegedly punching an elderly woman earlier this month, was hauled out of a Manhattan precinct in handcuffs on Sunday to face a court arraignment in the latest shocking attack. Zarzuela is accused of approaching this little girl, a Bronx resident, around 11:50 a.m. inside the historic terminal and punching her without warning.
Turning our attention to local news, a young girl punched in the face at Grand Central Terminal, and the MTA police tonight are asking for your help in finding the suspect. They say just before noon today, the 9-year-old was standing near her mother in the dining concourse when the suspect, pictured here, approached and punched her. They are looking nearby for him. Officers who happened to be near where this girl was punched was able to render the young girl aid. She was taken to the hospital for treatment, but the suspect, who MTA police say is known to them, got away. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to contact MTA police.
Actual crazed lunatics. It's unbelievable. There seems to be an assault crisis going on in New York City. I don't know how else to describe it. People are just randomly getting punched in the face, socked in the teeth. Most people are scratching their head going, what in the frick is going on here? How are we allowing this to continue? Obviously, these people have proven themselves as unable to integrate into civilized society. And what's the woke progressive Democrat response? Let them back on the street. It's insane. After a string of assaults on young women, you would expect New York City officials to start taking a more harsh approach, actually dealing with these insane criminals, but no, instead they'd rather create more victims. In this case, a 9-year-old girl victim. It's absolutely horrifying. This lunatic right over here punched an elderly woman in the face in public, and New York City judges thought the most appropriate thing, the most appropriate response, was to allow this lunatic back on the streets. Democrats want to misdirect homicide numbers. Ooh, they're down 30% in one city. But that is not what we're talking about. That is a misdirection. We're talking about a lack of justice and lack of policing. People who live in Democrat big cities know exactly what I'm talking about. The frustration stems from stuff like this.
Oh my gosh. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, you're gonna break your arm. Where did she get the hammer, though? It's like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Does she have an iPad?
Yeah, it looks like a charger. Probably was.
It's like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Oh, there goes the police. Bad boys.
Hey, what are you doing? They just. I was gonna say, he said probably get her. He's probably looking around.
He's like, hey, did you do that? All right, I'll take your word for it.
What? Oh. This wasn't you? Okay.
She said she didn't do it. Okay. Oh my God.
Police officers who have been trained to not enforce the law. There you have, yet again, another crazed lunatic. Not assaulting a person, but let's call it assaulting a business, vandalizing a business, possibly having some sort of psychotic break, in any rational, sane society, that person would be removed from the streets. But in California, in the Democrat clown world, it's perfectly normal behavior. I guess that's what it means to live in a city, right? Living in the big city used to be a beautiful experience. That video's from San Francisco. San Francisco used to be a beautiful place. Now, apparently, the city experience is less of economic mobility, big business, and amazing culture and food, and more about dodging hobo punches, trying not to get stabbed and poked by syringes on the streets, and trying very carefully not to step on human feces. The Democrat Party is pro-criminal, and that is not an exaggerated statement. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.